The Criminal Investigations Department of the Ghana Police Service is set to have begun a probe of former government officials under the Mahama administration accused of drawing double salaries. Today, the minority in parliament have called a press conference alleging that the president is using the police CID to harass them. This follows police invitations to some officials in that administration, the former administration. Now, the minority MPs were led by spokesperson on the Finance Committee, Kisel Ato Forsen, and they've been speaking earlier at a press conference.
Week 25 of us received strange letters and phone calls from the CID of the Ghana Police Service, inviting us to confer with Mrs. M.Y.T. Adodankwa, Deputy Commissioner of Police, and to assist in investigations of allegations of double salaries made against us by the government. In a bizarre twist, as we were readying to appear before the CID this week, beginning from yesterday, considering what we had been grouped to appear on a separate days, the CID called some of our colleagues to inform them that they were no longer required to appear, as they had made mistakes with 18 of the 25 minority MPs originally contacted. Yes, you heard me right. As many as 18 of the 25 invitations had been withdrawn on the basis of mistakes committed by government. Government must really be in the indecent hurry to divert attention from its failings by its pathetic attempt to cow us into submission. No wonder government ended up with X in its face yesterday. It is sad that the hitherto respected and highly professional CID is being forced by excessive political maneuvering and underhand tactics to make the noble organization blunder and lose its credibility. Following this embarrassment to government, they have now resorted to an arena of propaganda. Our attention has been drawn to a publication in today's Daily Guide newspaper, alleging that some 22 Article 71 appointees of the elsewhere Mahama administration were overpaid while serving as ministers, deputy ministers, and members of parliament. The said publication can only be figment of the imagination of the government that continues to betray the trust of the people. We must state for the records that, contrary to the claims by the Daily Guide that no appointee has offered to make refund of double salaries, we challenge the Daily Guide to adduce evidence of this claim. We also find it curious that the Daily Guide was unable to produce the full list of the alleged 22 appointees.
Now, the minority spokesperson maintains that no former appointee was paid more than they deserved. He also said all former appointees are ready to submit themselves to any investigative body that intends to probe the matter.
Important to note that the Minister for Finance instructed the Auditor General to subject the release to audit and reconciliation to determine the actual amount due each Article 71 office holder, since they had only been paid in advance. This was duly done, and it emerged that government owes the Article 71 office holders huge salary arrests. At the point of the audit by the Auditor General, it was also detected that the advance paid to a handful of Article 71 office holders were more than others that had received. Most of these were computational errors. This notwithstanding, the amount paid to the category of office holders were not in excess of their salaries to entitlement as determined by the Presidential Emolument Committee. Therefore, there could not have been a situation of overpayment or double receipt of salaries by the said office holders. Even now, the salaries and emolument of the current 7th Parliament and current ministers have not been determined per Article 71 of the Constitution, and therefore cannot be described as salaries in advance. The only way to avoid this situation is when President acts timelessly in appointing the Presidential Emolument Committee, so as to avoid payment in advances and the subsequent need for auditing and reconciliation of account. This will avoid the ritual rush in paying Article 71 Commission adjustment close to the end of tenure of an exiting administration. ladies and gentlemen, we repeat for emphasis that there has not been no wrongdoing on our part. And I repeat for emphasis that there has been no wrongdoing on the part of the minority members of parliament. The NDC minority stands ready to submit to the highest standards of accountability any day. Let me take this again. We, the NDC minority, stands ready to submit to the highest standards of the accountability any day. Those assurance given, we know a witch hunt, and we can see one when it's coming. We wish to send a crystal clear message to the Akufo-Addo government that the minority will not be intimidated nor cowed into shirking our responsibility and our democratic and constitutional duties. We shall remain resolute, faithful to our mandate and the high expectations of the people who elected us to represent them in Parliament.
Kesa Latoforsen speaks for the minority on the Finance Committee in Parliament. Look forward to some discussions and analysis in our subsequent bulletins on radio and on TV as well. But for now, I'll take a very quick break.